Today she made this statement. You know, she won't use the term radical Islamic terrorism. You understand that? She won't use it. She refuses. You know why she won't? Because her president won't use it. That's why. And I'm saying to myself, what just happened about 12 hours ago? A plane got blown out of the sky.
Donald Trump putting in stark relief the difference between he and Hillary Clinton in regard to the EgyptAir Flight 804 following her earlier attacks on his qualifications to be president, during which time she said he was not qualified in her mind to be president of the United States. Dr. Ben Carson joins us now, former Republican presidential candidate who is now a supporter of Donald Trump. Dr. Carson, good morning. Good to see you again. Welcome back to the program.
Good morning.
So what do you make of those comments by Donald Trump? Some say that he jumped the gun, that there isn't, you know, we're still looking at the debris field and the experts are still trying to figure out whether this was an explosion or a mechanical accident, but he seems to have already made a conclusion.
Well, it's clear that he's expressing his opinion. You know, everybody forms opinions about what's going on. I suspect that when all the dust has settled, there will be some mischief implicated in this crash.
I think that many people believe that it is pointing in that direction. The bottom line is that we just don't know yet at this point. And, you know,
Right.
It raises a question. I mean, would you expect, you know, a different reaction if he were president than as a candidate to this kind of event?
Well, I would expect him, obviously, to entertain all of the different possibilities. And more than likely, as president, he's going to have a spokesperson. And they're going to be issuing statements, and they're going to be talking about all the different possibilities.
So you think he'll be mum on these sorts of things? You don't think we're going to hear tweets and, you know, early proclamations from a President Trump? I doubt his spokesperson is going to have a larger voice on anything than he will. Do you?
Probably not to the same degree that you're seeing the tweets and things right now. He's going to be too busy, quite frankly, for that. You know, it will not only be, you know, the crash, it will be things that are going on in Iraq, things that are going on in North Korea, things that are going on in the South China Sea. He's going to be dealing with a lot of stuff. He's not going to have time, you know, to be tweeting about that.
Well, we'll see, I guess. You know, when you look at the numbers on national security and on foreign policy, Hillary Clinton does better on foreign policy than he does, and he does better on national security. And I think, you know, I just want to say here that there's no doubt that his reaction yesterday resonates very strongly with his supporters. They want somebody who's willing, in the larger picture, to call Islamic extremism what it is. And so there's no doubt that they will respond favorably and have already to that comment. Here's Hillary Clinton. I just want to play this for you and get your reaction to this, Dr. Carson. Here's what she said. Watch this.
I know how hard this job is, and I know that we need steadiness as well as strength and smarts in it. And I have concluded he is not qualified to be President of the United States.
What do you think about that?
I think that's ridiculous. You know, the fact of the matter is, here is an individual who doesn't have enough judgment to know not to put, you know, secret information on a private server. And she's talking about somebody else who isn't qualified, somebody who doesn't have the judgment to send help to, you know, the consulate in Benghazi when they're begging for help, and then who doesn't have the judgment after the problem starts to get help there. Just says, we're not going to do anything about it. 9 hours later, those Navy SEALs are on top of that compound firing away, just saying if we can just hold on, help will be arriving. But help was not going to arrive, no matter how long they stayed there. Is that good judgment?
Yeah, there's no doubt that we're going to hear a lot of that in the debates between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, if that's where it goes, and I think most people think it will. Who do you think he would appoint as Secretary of Defense or Secretary, you know, in terms of national security issues, and Secretary of State?
Well, I think there are so many, you know, incredible people. I don't want to throw a name out because you know what happens when you do that. But you know, we have some terrific generals. We have people who've been in the diplomatic corps, and you know, they're talking to him all the time. As you can tell when you talk to him, he's gained an enormous amount of information.
All right, one last quick question before I let you go. Bernie Sanders, should he stay in this race?
I don't see any reason why he shouldn't. You know, he's won the majority of the races lately. A lot of people seem to be gravitating toward him. And I think he should fight it out.
All right.
You know, he shouldn't just capitulate to a system that is really quite corrupt.
Ben Carson, thank you very much. Good to see you this morning, sir. Thanks for being here.
You too. Thank you, Martha.
You bet.